about shorting stocks. We're going to talk about Dogecoin and crypto, and we're coming at you right now. Thank you for tuning in to the weekly wrap-up. I wanted to do this video on Saturday. Unfortunately, too much was happening, but we have summarized the information here from what has happened to the markets. And normally we don't talk about stocks, but let's break down for everybody what exactly is shorting a stock in under 60 seconds. So when a company wants to short a stock, they pay a daily fee to borrow it. They have to repay that stock by buying a stock and returning it to the issuer. What has happened in this circumstance here is that the price of the stocks have been brought up so high that many of these hedge fund companies that we've seen in the last week could not afford to buy them back. So they were continually paying the fees daily to own this stock option, which they needed to get out of. So we had hedge fund companies needing to be bailed out by their owners from multi-companies and to take loans and even to look at bankruptcy in many of these areas. So what happened was, this is called a squeeze that they put on a stock, and they lost in the short term. So what exactly happened in the markets in the last week? How did it affect finance, our economies, and cryptocurrencies? Well, Wall Street Bets is something that was started about 10 years ago by someone called Jamie Rogozinski. Now, he stepped back from that program, and he even wrote a book that you can get on Amazon, which many people are ordering now. Everyone's curious about this whole meme economy that has come out of this, which has been tied to this. It's really, really complex in all of the areas, but basically what has happened is the public has banded together and found a way to screw over these hedge fund companies. Now, with the major story here, GameStop is where this happened. A company that's struggling and that goes into something which many would refer to as a death spiral in their stock. So these companies think they can short the stock and continually make money by buying it at a lower price, returning it back to the issuer. Now, in this circumstance, we had people on Reddit creating memes. This is the meme economy. And I've been on Twitter and Reddit and Discord and talking to people in voice chats and in text chats. And as you have seen yourself, this has just absolutely blown up. And the reason behind all of this is not about profit for a lot of people. Now, I would say the top 5 to 10% of people investing in stocks right now and trying to jump into these massive pumps to try to make some money, 5 to 10% of these people will make money. Everyone else could potentially lose huge. So people think that the hedge funds have lost, but essentially in the long-term game, some of them will stay in the markets and the public will lose because the general public does not know how to trade stocks and crypto, and they do not know how to take profit. Take, for example, AJ Vanover from Missouri. He used Robinhood app, as many have, and he put $4,500 US into GameStop stock, watching this pump. And his account just the other day was worth, on paper, over $1 million. $1,095,001.48. Now, you would think that this guy has made it, but no, he's not selling. He's holding on to his stock. So, what is this? This is proof that the general public does not know how to trade, because what is one of the main principles that many of us are taught when you're trading? ATP. Always take profit. You would think that AJ Vanover from Missouri, at his job, who makes $45,000 a year, would take out a little bit, maybe change his work, take a break, take out $45,000, take $70,000 out, take $100,000 out, take a year or two off of work, figure out your finances. No, he's staying in his job. He's keeping his money in Robinhood, which he could liquidate some of or all of. You're allowed to sell even while there's restrictions on the app. And yet, like everyone else, they watch these pumps go up, they watch them go down. They've got no exit strategy. So who wins in this circumstance? Not the general public. I was on a Discord discussion group. Wall Street Bets had a Discord group grow last week to 250,000 members, and the account was shut off by Discord, which put people in an uproar because it ramped up in about the span of 2 days. Now, Discord said that the terms of use were violated. We did see more groups pop up. There are no official groups here of Wall Street Bets. Everything is unofficial. This is hordes of Redditors and gamers and the general public who are just spitting out ridiculousness, memes, theories, which are, many of them are wrong, many of them are right, about what's going to happen with the market. And what have we seen that was happening? As Robinhood restricted all of the movement and the purchasing of these stocks, such as GameStop and many others. Why did they do that? Well, at 3 a.m. on the 28th, the clearinghouse that operates the National Securities Clearing Corporation phoned up Robinhood and said, we need $3 billion to cover this. Now, why? What does that mean? Well, when you have stocks that are bought and sold, a clearinghouse will actually transfer the funds, manage this, and get this from buy to sell orders and sell orders to buy orders, and transfer the funds where they need to go. Sometimes this takes up to a day or two. Does anybody see an issue with this, with how fast things are moving in our world? If you watch and see how fast things move in crypto and how they are permissionless, this is a solution. Trading stocks that take 2 days to settle? Are you kidding me? You could walk the money over in cash. It would be quicker than that if you had to walk across part of the country. It's ridiculous. Let's go to the charts and see a little bit about what happened here. Jumping in here, this is GameStop. We can see here back on the 13th, we saw a little bit of a ramp up, but really things didn't get going till the 22nd. And it was back on the 27th, we actually had a tweet from Elon Musk that said GameStop. And this is when things start to go banana. Is Elon Musk to blame for this happening? Not entirely, but obviously he has a huge influence in the financial sector, being such a successful business person. And he even interviewed Vlad Tenev from Robinhood on Clubhouse, which was fascinating. He basically asked him and said, was anything shady done here? And Vlad is adamant that nothing shady was done here, whereas you have other people like Dave Portnoy that says people are going to jail for shutting down these trading accounts. Now, it wasn't only Robinhood. Other apps like M1 Finance, Public, and Webull, and many, many more also had to make these decisions to restrict purchases of these stocks because, you know, from their perspective, they just could not facilitate more transactions. And, you know, some of them have said, oh, it's to protect people from losing money. If that's the case, then don't allow anyone to trade stocks. Make everyone be an accredited investor, which is a losing business model for them. They need the general public to trade stocks. That's how they make money. So a lot of what has been said is not making sense. But how did this affect other things? We had GameStop, we had AMC, which also had a bit of a ramp up. Look at this. The charts aren't even connected. They jump from one day to the next. The moving averages are all over the place. What happened to Bitcoin? Bitcoin itself had a reaction as well right after this. If you look at the 27th, Bitcoin started to just go parabolic, and into the 29th, Bitcoin had a low of 29,600 last week and had a high of 38,400, which was incredible. Now we've seen a bit of a consolidation in the last few days, some sideways movement, and what are we going to see happen going into February? We'll discuss that in a minute. To look at a few more things, we also have pump groups just binding together with people. Today we saw XRP go absolutely parabolic. This was a planned pump group, and our company, Gokhshtein Media, has seen a few of the people involved in this, and everyone seems to denounce this sort of activity because everyone knows that when you pump and dump a project, no matter what it is very hard to recover and get consumer confidence back into that brand. Look at XRP go from 28 cents today up to 72 cents and then just absolutely plummet. What happens to the market when this is occurring? The holders of XRP who bought in this area are getting absolutely destroyed and losing money. And who's making money? The people who plan the pumps. Maybe some of the people who are coordinated in these pumps as well, but the people who plan them purchase before the pump even happens. A pump and dump plan that happens on Telegram all the time. The people who organize it win. The people who are in it, half of them can do well, and most people who try to chase a pump lose, and they lose hard. So keep that in mind. We've seen this with other platforms today. I saw pumps that were going to happen with Icon, and people were saying, I'm having no part of this, I'm not supporting this. So keep that in mind going forward, that when you see people trying to pump a project, pump a stock, keep your distance. Unless you are an absolute professional day trader, which 99.9999% of the people on the planet are not, do not get involved in these pump and dumps. You will lose your shirt. You don't know how to liquidate. You don't know how to ladder out, ladder in, reduce risk, how to cost average up or down. These are some of the things that you have to learn if you're going to be trading cryptocurrencies. Otherwise, the safest things to do is to just hodl. So looking at some of the other cryptocurrencies that did very well, Ethereum was all over the map, not so much in a pump and dump. We can see how this has really shaken up the industry a little bit. The cool heads that will prevail here are people who just ride this out and watch what happens. For the most part, Ethereum stayed between $1,140 US and $1,460. But let's go back and take a look a little bit about what drove this with the meme economy. We had meme after meme after meme inspire people. And when I was talking to some of the people in these Discord groups, there was a group of young guys. I'm assuming they're over 18 because they're trading. They've got trading accounts. They're buying stock. They're buying Dogecoin. They're buying crypto. And Dogecoin was absolutely parabolic in the last few days. Dogecoin was probably more parabolic than anything that we've seen during this last week. Lots of people were making profit during this, but then watch how people lost their shirts if they bought anything during the rise from 1 penny up to 8.5. A lot of young guys who I talked to, a lot of investors, men and women in these groups, they don't care about what's happening. They're really buying these stocks just to be a part of the story, and they feel like they're a part of screwing over hedge fund companies, which is shocking. They throw the money in. They know that there's absolute volatility in the market, and they are just like, I'm going to go back to playing video games. I don't really care. I'm holding these stocks. I'm hodling my crypto for as long as I want to. There's no pressure for them to sell, and the statement has been said many times that they can hold longer than these companies can remain solvent, the hedge fund companies that have to buy their way out of shorting these stocks. So what will happen for the balance of February? Well, crypto is getting the attention that it deserves, being permissionless. Stocks are going into chaos. For the inability to buy stocks, for the amount of volatility that people are not used to in these stocks, the emotions are on high. And the meme economy, this is it. We've never seen this before. We saw interviews with Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, on Sky News. He said that the inefficiencies allowing this will be removed, which is staggering because you would think that none of these things could be changed. Dave Portnoy said the same thing from Barstool Sports. He said, I don't care about my investments. People are going to jail. But he said, I've never ever seen a circumstance where things can just be changed on the fly, where you can change the rules. He said it's like the Super Bowl, your team's losing, and you just extend the game and change the rules on the fly. And it's really interesting seeing Dave Portnoy's attitude towards all of this, because he has not really supported crypto very much. He's very interested in it. He's a stock guy, and he's seeing what happens here. But he put $2 million into these stocks that were being shorted by hedge funds just to support the whole initiative. We even saw an airplane that carried a special message for Robinhood app, which did a flight path over San Francisco, San Jose, and the surrounding bays there, which is hilarious. The effort that people are putting into with this, you know, much like you would say back to Occupy Wall Street, this is like Occupy Wall Street online on steroids. Can you believe that what's happening? You know, today being Monday, I thought that a lot more would be happening in the markets, and it wasn't as volatile as I thought it would be. But in the next few days, we may see more of this, especially with crypto on the rise. Everybody seems to be phoning friends, inquiring, setting up accounts. This is the big thing. People who want to invest in stocks and crypto right now, they're not even set up. They don't have the accounts open or ready to invest. So they have to do KYC, get their verifications, and if companies get overloaded with these sort of demands, these accounts won't be approved for weeks. The same thing we saw in the end of 2017, beginning of 2018 bull run with crypto, when people wanted to open accounts and it was a 2-week wait to get verified before you could do anything. We may see this again right now. But the hedge fund companies who were dealing with all of this, Melvin Capital, for example, who was in real hot water over shorting GameStop, they had to be bailed out by their part owner, Citadel Hedge Fund. And they had to bring in the funds to help them buy out the position and return the stocks that they shorted. So watch the news this week and watch the markets closely. If you're just a spectator, enjoy the show. Get some popcorn and tune in to GokhshteinMedia.com. We do have coverage of this. We do have articles coming out summarizing a lot of this. And tune in to Gokhshtein Unfiltered on Wednesday this week, where you can get an update on what's happening, get some perspective from team members and people that we'll have on the show. But as we always say, thank you for tuning in. And remember, if you want to read the news or if you want to be the news, tune in to Gokhshtein.com.